So just find any position that's comfortable to stand with your feet a little wider, arms by your sides, eyes closed or eyes gently open with your gaze slightly down. Just start rocking a little bit on your feet, forward and back, from the toes to the heels of your feet. And just a little movement forward and back. A little bit of rocking, toes to heels and heels to toes. And try to make it even slower. Noticing your feet, the texture underneath your feet, or if you're wearing socks. And then allow yourself to come to that still center point. Just let a couple exhales out of your mouth. Easy breath in, and then those bigger exhales out. Go ahead and take one more. Then allow your hands to come together, palms and all 10 fingers. So your hands are basically in prayer, or Anjali Mudra, in the center of your chest. And then that same rocking you did with your feet, you're just gonna try and do with your hands. So you're gonna separate your palms just an inch, let your fingertips touch, and then let your fingers separate and the heels of your hands touch. So you're just gonna rock from your fingertips to the ends of your palms. So you kind of make this little floating triangle to this open lotus shape with your hands. As you start to notice your breath, as you start to notice how quickly or how slowly you're moving your hands. And then after you've taken those 2 points to be aware of, a little slower, heels of the hands, tops of the palms, the tips of your fingers, and then back down. Just slowing it down. Also a good opportunity when you slow your physical movement of your limbs to slow the physical movement of your breath. Just take 1 to 2 more. Ending with your hands in prayer, Anjali Mudra. Elbows a little softer down by your sides. And then let your attention go to your left foot. And then to your right knee. To your left buttocks. To your right rib cage. Your left shoulder. Your right elbow. And then your left hand. Then take your awareness to your right hand, left elbow, right shoulder, left buttocks, right knee, left foot. Your toes, both knees, the bowl of your pelvis, both sides of your rib cage, both shoulders, both elbows, and then the connective point of your palms together. Feel free to keep your eyes closed, or you can gently begin to open them. Inhale, fingertips move up overhead. Keep your hands together. And then exhale, just bring your hands back to heart center. So first, very simple movement. Inhale, arms up. Palms stay connected, but not to the point where your elbows have to go fully straight. Exhale, hands down. Just 2 more of these. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands to heart. 1 more. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands to your heart. From your hands at your heart, hands to your hips. Widen your stance. So feet are even wider than your hips. Then you're just gonna do a little bit of a lean forward squat back, and then inhale, come up. Just a little exhale down, inhale up. Noticing your feet a little heavier on the floor when you press into them and stand. So exhale down, inhale, stand. And just see how your body reacts to this first movement. See if you can really pair it up with your breath. Exhale to squat, inhale to stand. A little bit more weight in your heels. So your bum goes back a little farther, yep. And then switch the breath. Inhale, squat, exhale, stand. And you might need a moment to pause to switch that breath. Notice if your brain goes into a different kind of maybe like exercise mode rather than yoga breath. As you exhale and stand, that can be common to feel. Maybe, maybe not. Good, just take 2 more. Inhale, squat, exhale, stand. And then as you stand up, release your arms. I'm gonna point the camera down so you come onto your left big toe as you turn to the right. So you're just gonna do a little turn with your arms and then switch. So you're gonna come onto the big toe, torso turns, arm swings, side to side. Watch if you're beating yourself up with your arms, just a nice little revolving, a little tapping of your forearms or your wrists to your belly. Breathe in and out. Stand up nice and tall. And the one foot that's flat that you're balancing on, really feel that foot on the floor. Make sure it's supportive as you pivot onto your other toe. Just gonna do 2 more each side. Gentle, thoughtful twist side to side. And then when you're ready, come back to center. Find your space on your mat to stand at whatever your top is, arms by your side. Inhale, reach your arms out and up. Exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold. Soften your knees, hang your head, first one. Good, and then just a little pedal out through your legs. So a little bit more extension in one leg, a little more bend in the other knee, and then switch. And this can be a great place for your blocks. If you want to bring the floor a little closer, if you feel your back overly rounded. So it's very similar to how you pedal out a downward dog, but you're just doing it in a fold. A full fold, a half fold, some kind of fold. Again, notice where your feet are on the earth. Right? Where does your pose start? And then as you come back to center, if you've got your blocks, set them off to the side. Hands at the top, step back, downward dog. Soft knees, heavy head, and slow breath. Maybe it's your first dog in a little while, or a long while, or somewhere in between. Or notice if you can really feel into your morning body. Or maybe still feeling a little bit of the residue of yesterday. Just 3 more breaths here. My suggestion is always to breathe in the nose. You can breathe out however you want, out of your nose or out of your mouth. Next, exhale. You bring your knees gently down, tabletop. One hand stays down, doesn't matter which arm, you're gonna pick up one arm, open twist towards the side, and then exhale, thread it underneath. Come onto your shoulder, reach those fingertips away, yeah, and hold for 3 breaths. This first downward feeling twist. You'll come up on an inhale, slow, opening. This is just still a twist, it's just a different one. Open twist back to where you started, excellent. And then exhale, hand down. Switch it to the other side, inhale, out and open. Feel free to turn your head. Exhale, thread it underneath. Slowly come onto your shoulder, your temple, your ear, whatever's comfortable or manageable. Remember, yoga's not always comfortable, but breath in and out. 2 more rounds. See if you can release right when your inhale starts, opening back up, reaching, looking, leaning, and then exhale your hands down. Great place to grab your blocks, or if a chair is close to help you balance, you're gonna bring the blocks underneath your hand, or at least one block underneath one hand. Go ahead and again, pick a foot today. Step your foot up, low runner's lunge, scoot your opposite knee back, and then start to walk your block or blocks back so you're upright and just giving a little breath into your back leg hip flexor. Good. If you feel steady in your lower body, stretch up one arm towards the ceiling. And this might be the best place for you to stop in this first low runner's lunge. To stop and breathe. Take a look at your front knee. Notice if it's going out or in. Goldilocks it right in the center. One more breath in with this arm up. Exhale, bring that arm down. Take the opposite arm up. Whichever one that is for you. And notice how that changes your weight in this pose. Relax through your jaw, lift through your chest. Nice, everybody. Still breathing into that back hip flexor. One more inhale and exhale. Release your arm on an inhale and prepare half splits. Lean your hips back, straighten your front leg. Slow and steady. Notice if your body immediately reacts. Can you respond by choosing to breathe? Really nice spinal posture, everyone. We're going to keep your heart up and your neck long. Tuck your back toes under, just so you have a little bit more stability. And whichever leg is in front, take your hands or your blocks over to the baby toe side of that leg. And you're just gonna walk your arms a little bit, so you're taking a twist across. Yeah, you got it, both arms. Try not to let your hips really swing out to the side. Try to keep them in the center. Yeah, just a couple breaths. Ooh, your hamstrings, like, it's happening. One more breath in. Exhale, begin to walk your hands or blocks back to center. This time on the big toe side of your foot, inside. Bend your front knee, lift your back knee. Yep, so back into your lunge. Hands on the big toe side of your foot. Pivot to wide-legged forward fold to move to the other side. So turn, hands framing your opposite foot. Back heel spins up. Yep, gently back knee down. Walk your blocks back so you can have a little bit more ability to sit tall. Let yourself be steady here and breathe into your back hip flexor first. Again, when you feel grounded into the floor, then take one arm up. Pick an arm, any arm. Let your eyes stay still and steady so your pose does the same. Move a little through your jaw if you're holding tension there, or anywhere else if you feel a lot of tightness. One more inhale. Exhale, float your lifted arm down. Pause with both hands on the blocks, the floor of the chair, and then switch arms. Reach it up. Notice what changes. Also notice what stays the same. Relax through your jaw. One more breath in. Actually, let's say 2 breaths. When you feel pretty even, float your arm down. Lift and we'll take your hips back, half splits. Go ahead and tuck your back toes so it's already there, giving you a little extra support. And then both hands across on the baby toe side of your foot. So you'll have one arm crossed over your thigh, keeping your hips as central as you can, just getting a little twist from the middle of your spine up. So your hips are pretty stable. The twist happens from your belly button up. Slow breath in and out. Just a different way to twist. Yeah. One more inhale. Exhale, slowly bring your hands on the big toe side of your foot. Journey your way back into a wide-legged forward fold. Feel free to keep your blocks with you. A little turn in of your toes out of your heels. Yep. Start with that flat back sensation. One more breath in. From your hands on the blocks, put your elbows on the blocks. Your forearms. Now let your head relax. And then do that same foot rocking we did right at the beginning of practice. Toes to heels, and heels to toes. And notice if you like the width of your stance. Do you want to change it? To investigate? Do you want to keep it the same because it feels good? Do you want to keep it the same because it's just comfortable? Maybe change it up. Narrower or wider, either one. Still with a little rocking forward and back. And then come back to the center, hands on the blocks. So you're in a half lifted position. Preparing for another twist. Keep your right hand where it is. Take your left arm out. Straight out from your shoulder. Now, notice if you're leaning really far back on your heels, try to even out the weight between your feet. Keep your back, your lower back, your sacrum as level as you can. Remember, grandma's favorite teacup is back there and you don't want it to drop because she will not be pleased. You're gonna twist from your belly button. Just start slowly on an exhale, like an inch. Then inhale, maybe another half an inch. And this isn't gonna be a giant twist because you can't really get into a big twist here unless you drop your right hip and elevate your left. So I want you to keep that level sacrum, smaller twist. Yeah, you got it. Put your neck in a neutral position, whatever that means for you, down, turned, or up. Full cycle of breath, one more, inhale and exhale. Release on an inhale. Slowly come back to center. Notice if you're going weight into your heels, even it out. Left hand down, right arm out. And then same thing, just an inch. Level sacrum. If there was tea in that teacup, not a drop would spill. Maybe open a little bit more. Nice. Ooh, where are your feet and where is your breath? A little bit more lean forward. Your heels always stay on the ground here, but you're just putting a little bit more awareness in a different part of your feet. Last round, inhale and exhale. Trying to release the twist on an inhale. And that's just a general rule of thumb. Anytime you twist, you want to release on an inhale. Turn your toes out, heels in, goddess squat. Just a little drop down through your hips. If you like your hands staying on the block, stay there. If you want to bring them up to your thighs, great. If you want to come all the way up, feel free. Just find where the stopping point is for you and a little side to side rocking. So you're still rocking through your feet, toes to heels, but it's one foot at a time instead of both. Ooh, and some of you look like your shoulders are just like Velcroed to your ears. Happens to me too. Yeah, get a little twist in, come to center, left shoulder down, look to the right. Inhale, a slight lift, exhale, right shoulder down, look to the left. And I really want you to move at your own pace. It doesn't have to be one breath, one move. It can be 4 breaths in one spot, 5 breaths on the other side. Again, our hips are the anchor point, your belly button, your thoracic spine, the middle of your back is where you want to twist from. Also gives that nice little rinsing to your internal organs with these twists side to side. And maybe your quads are starting to talk to you because we're in a squat position. Maybe one more each side, or as long as you feel fairly even. And then you'll come to center, stand up, and just shake your hips out a little bit. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Take one of your blocks. Just gonna move this so you guys can see. There we go. Okay, triangle pose. Left foot forward, right leg back. And bring your hand down to your block or your thigh. And then I want you to play with your top hip. So you're gonna point it down slightly and then slightly open. And then down slightly and then slightly open. So just move through that a few times. A little pointing down of your hip and a little open. Try not to overly force either way. You can also add in your arm. Your right hand can come down and then it can slightly open up. Again, it doesn't have to be all the way. Down and up. Nice. And then I just want you to find your most sustainable triangle. Your hip doesn't have to be totally open. Wherever your feet feel equal, so if you really feel like your front leg, your front foot is dominating, I want you to come back and wiggle around till you feel both feet and both legs equally working. So it's okay if your top hip is slightly pointed down. Reach up through your right arm. Wrap your right arm behind your back just to open up a little bit into your right shoulder. And then a little bit of awareness. Right shoulder. Left hip. Right knee. Left knee. Right foot. Left foot. Breathe in. Exhale, unwind your arm, reach your right fingers back up. And then exhale, take a fold over your front leg. Feel free to pick up your back heel if that feels better on your knee. Feel free to reach around, find your second block. So your front leg is a straight leg position. Doesn't need to be stick straight. Both hips pointed towards the ground. 2 more breaths. If your back heel is up, put that right heel down. Hands to your hips. Inhale, slowly come up with your torso. Just enough to pivot your left foot in, right toes out. It's okay to reach back, find your block or blocks. Trikonasana, triangle pose, other side. Hand on the block, hand on your shin, hand on your thigh. Anywhere is great. Good place to start with your left hand on your hip so you can tangibly feel your hip bone and pelvis. And then just start with that little pointing down, opening up. Pointing down, opening up. Just going on a little exploration with your hip and with this other side of triangle. Breathe in and out. Maybe you add in your arm if you did on the other side. Inhale, opening up. Exhale, pointing down. So your fingertips reach towards the floor. And again, try not to force yourself either way, either into a full closed position or a full open position. That's still a lot. Less doesn't mean less all the time. Less sometimes means more awareness. And then you'll settle into your Trikonasana triangle pose, but a place where both feet evenly work, both legs evenly work. So play with the weight distribution of your feet. Play with your hip. Maybe you need to point it down a little bit or open it up a little more. Look at those triangles. One more breath in. Stay in the shape. Just wrap your left arm behind your back. Little opening through your left collarbone, left shoulder. You're going to follow my voice into that point of your body. Start at your left shoulder, right hip, left knee, right knee, left foot, right foot. 2 more breaths. Place where your breath is steady and comfortable. Slowly unwind your arm and then prepare for the fold. Maybe you need to bend your knee, pause with your hand on the ground, back foot stays flat, or back heel lifts. Lots of options as you lean forward and breathe into your front leg. Remember, most of the effort happens in the legs, so watch if all the effort is in your hands and your shoulders instead. Good. Last round of breath in and out. If you have blocks, go ahead and keep them under your hands. Walk around to the middle, back to your left foot, pivoting. So you're in a pyramid stance, back foot flat, hips pointed towards the ground. And notice how your hips feel today. Maybe try a wider stance. Walk your feet towards the long edges of your mat. Just makes it a little bit more of a yes today for you. Good. Press to your feet, hands to your hips. With a lifted back, come all the way up. And then exhale, hinge back at your hips. Halfway point. Hands to your blocks, they're there for a reason. And then maybe you drop your head. You can get a little bit of a rounded cat back here. Breathe. And then one more time, inhale. Extended spine, start to lift into that half table position. Press to your feet, hands to your hips, come all the way up. Yeah. And then your exhale, from your hips, slightly going back, lean forward. Hands on the blocks. Maybe your feet come a little closer, maybe they need to stay wide. Both are great. In this pyramid base with your legs is where you go into twisted triangle. So your right hand crosses over. You can either web across your left foot, hand onto your block, hand onto your shin, or even onto your thigh, and you're going to twist away from your back leg. And again, notice what happens with your hips. Feel free to kind of wag your tail around or put your left hand on your hip. This time, it's totally fine to let your right hip drop and your left hip elevate so you can really turn from your belly button. Twisted triangle. Yeah. Do what you'd like with your opposite arm. So your left arm can do whatever it wants. Couple more breaths. Again, it's all about how you breathe with the twist. Can you make your feet a little bit more equal, your stance a little bit more equal in this twisted triangle? Release your pose on an inhale. You can take your block in your hand and just inhale, lift up with your spine, pivot your feet, go to the other side, and start wide. Pyramid stance. Palm block down. Move your feet around, the width, the length. that rocking forward and back so you can really investigate where you feel even in your legs, just like you did in triangle. And then find more of that table position in your back. Teacup is back there. Right on your sacrum, nice and level. Hands to your hips, put pressure in both feet. Inhale, come up. If you feel tugging at your lower back, make sure you put more of a bend in your front leg. Yeah, inhale, tall. Exhale, hips have to go slightly back as you lean forward. That half lifted position. Yeah. One more time, your inhale. Whenever it arrives, you start to lift. Your exhale, take it forward. Pausing here. Hand on the block. Awareness in both feet as your front leg doing all the work. So move the width, the length of your feet so your back leg works a little more as you prepare for twisted triangle. Left hand crosses either on your block or your foot, and then you can allow your left hip to drop, right hip to lift. Twist from your belly button. So you will feel that pretty intense hugging of your inner thigh muscles, but you want the most of the twist to come from your belly button up. Yeah, right arm. Maybe it does the same thing as it did with the left side. Maybe it does something different because the shoulder is a different mechanism and a different joint. Your breath will totally rat you out if you're not in the right shape for you. So if you stop breathing, your breath is basically telling on you that, oh, you need to change something. Last round. Slowly unwind. You can take the block in your hand, take it to the outside, right back to the big toe side of your foot, and slowly lift up. And then turn the face back towards the front. I'm gonna scoot my mat back just a little for you guys. Warrior two with your left foot out. You're gonna do the same hip exploration. So your right hand on your hip, just a little point down and a little open up. So front knee is bent to any degree, just as long as you keep your knee atop your ankle. So just moving your hip forward and open. A little forward and a little open. And then you're gonna find the Goldilocks spot for your body so you can settle in and both legs equally working. It's really easy to get all through the front leg, all the power, all the holding. So you might need to turn your right hip in a little bit to push through the blade edge of your foot so you feel it a little more. Yeah. And then open up through your arms, warrior two. But you can still have that right hip in a little bit more. Reach out through your fingers, press down and out through your feet. And allow your breath to help you be steady and stable in this posture. Yep. A few more breaths. Wrap your right arm behind your back. Keep your legs the same. Lift up and back so you're slightly leaning towards your right leg. Exalted Warrior. As you come up, straighten your front leg to release your quad, both arms out to a T. Left toes turn in, your right toes turn out. Bend through your right knee. Warrior two, go ahead and relax your arms. And then you're gonna play with that left hip, a little point forward. So your torso is also gonna move too. So you can point it a little down, shine it a little bit more straight ahead. So moving through your hip. Right, so you're just trying to ease into that joint, ease into your muscle strength. Look at your knee, middle toe, and not past your ankle. And basically, if you can see your toes, it's in a pretty good spot. As soon as your knee starts to push forward to hide your toenails, that's a signal you've gone too far. All right, find the right spot for your back hip. So you're also really pushing out and through the baby toe side of your back foot. So it's not all your front quad. Extend your arms, warrior two. And breathe. Turn your head, gaze your eyes where you feel like you can concentrate. Where you feel like you're in it, but it's not fully consuming you. You can still stay calm in your breath. Wrap your left arm behind your back, exalt your warrior. Just from your torso, lift up and back. Ease up through your jaw again. Inhale, come back into warrior two. Straighten your front leg. Ooh, relax your arms. Turn your right toes in. Shake your hips out a little bit. Little tail wag side to side. And then heels in, toes out again. Bend through your knees. Press your knees back towards the baby toe sides of your feet. And again, left shoulder down. Turn your head to the right. Maybe you drop a little bit more into your heels and your glutes drop down. Right shoulder. Turn your head to the left. Do that one more time each side. Just take your time. Breathing in and out. And then find your hands on the ground or the blocks. Walk over to your left foot, runner's lunge. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle your foot back. Prepare for your twist. So if you know your legs are feeling it and you'd like to drop your back knee, great. If you'd like to come upright and lower high runner's lunge and just take your right arm across, great place to twist and look over your left shoulder. You don't have to go right to the default, whatever that might be for you. Again, you want your hips to be stable, twist from your belly button. And maybe if this feels good, you lean forward and kind of saw your arm down, so more of your tricep is on the outside of your thigh. Notice where it changes the sensation in your low lunge. You can stay right here. You can come back up, or maybe your hands touch, prayer. Twisted lunge, lower, high, your call. If your palms are touching together, slowly release, extend your right arm down, left hand to your lower back. Inhale, come back up. So you're still in the twist, just the back of your hand is towards the outside of your left knee. And then exhale, hands down. Option to go into half splits, 3/4. Option to walk your hands and that right arm up and over, getting a little extra twist. If you want none of that, do none of it. If you want all of it, do all of it. Don't be afraid to break the pose, get your props, and come back. And then notice, do you always sit your hips heavier in your half splits? Do you always fold a little more? Because that's more sensation. Or maybe you do a little less. So you can really tap into the back of your left leg. Maybe just your toes go higher and your heel drags towards your hip. So your left heel drags back. 3 more breaths. Remember, you don't want this to feel like a torture session or you're on some kind of like crazy contraption, stretching your body to over its capacity. You just want to get enough. Walk your hands or your blocks forward. Hands or blocks stay down. Lift your back knee. Walk around, other side, twist. So knowing where we're going, do you want to put your back knee down? You want to bring yourself up first. Nice place to start. Your left arm, just reach it across. The back of your hand goes to the outside of your knee. Good place to put your right hand on your sacrum, your lower back. Look over your right shoulder. Awesome twist to be here. There's a lot of good stuff happening. Make sure your breath is happening in and out. And then option to kind of reach down, fingertips towards this floor. So your left tricep comes to the outside of your knee or your thigh. Great place to stay in the twist. Or maybe you want to come back upright. Maybe you want to bring your hands together. Find your twist on this side. It can look the same as it did on the first side, or it can look different. Give it one more breath. And then just unwind piece by piece. So think about it for a second. Depending on where you are, how can you just take a step back to come out of this? And then another step back. All the time you need to lift up, to unwind fully through your twists. Find your props, shift back. Ardha Hanuman. I'm not sure what 3/4 in Sanskrit is, but 3/4 Hanuman. Any help from your friends, the blocks. Notice if you go, excuse me, again, right to your default of bum heavy or really trying to get your chest towards your knee. Maybe you just need to pull your left toes up and feel like your left heel is magnetizing back. Inhale and exhale. It's our best friend. It's always living in our back pocket. Sometimes we just forget. Yeah. Last breath. Maybe 2. Maybe you need more. From this position, and it doesn't matter if your back faces the camera or anything, you're gonna release your blocks. Whatever knee is down, you're gonna lean over to that side, bring your hip to the ground so you can gently come to the floor. So lean to the side of your knee that's down, come to the floor, swing your leg out. So it probably will be your left leg, sole of your right foot here. And it is really good. So if you have a blanket, go find your blanket to elevate your hips. A block might be plenty for you. It might be too much for you. A pillow might be the right spot. Left leg out. Wiggle around, find your sits bones. Starting with an open twist. Left fingers on the inside of your left leg. Just spider walk it. Again, don't have to go all the way to your foot. Put a little pressure of your pinky finger into your inner calf and just open up. Right shoulder back. You can lift your gaze and that might be plenty. Maybe you want your right hand down, right arm behind your back with your right hand on your left thigh. Maybe it feels nice to just open your arm so your wingspan is out. Again, different way to twist. And we're going to find that zigzag awareness again. So feel free to just close your eyes, might help. Right shoulder. Left hip. Right hip. Your left knee. Your right knee, your left foot, your right foot. Your inhale, slowly come up, unwind, taking a closed twist. So turn your hips. You might literally need to pull your left hip back. So you turn your shoulders and hip to face your left foot. Right arm across. I like the outside of the knee, the outside of the thigh. Left arm reaches back behind like a kickstand. Inhale, grow tall. Exhale, twist from your belly button. Head can turn any degree. Or you can also stay looking at your left foot. There's an opportunity to lift on your inhale, a millimeter, a centimeter, a little bit more on your exhale from your belly button. Nice. Remember, do your best to release your twist on an inhale. Come to center, legs stay in that position, eyes closed. And just check in. From your head, your hips, to your feet. Right, inhale through your nose. Exhale it out. Open your eyes. Right leg out, left foot in. Remember, this is basically just seated tree pose. So it should also feel like maybe your left hip is getting some space open. Right hand down and just spider walk it a little bit at a time. Gentle amount of pressure, right pinky finger into your inner right calf. And then start to, from your belly button, right? If you literally have to find your belly button, and then that's the point you want to draw open and back. Wherever your left hand needs to be to support you. Any amount of turn in your neck. And that doesn't always have to be up and open. Sometimes it feels nice to look down at your right foot. And then do whatever feels best for your left arm. Can be the same, can be different. Close down to your eyes. The tension at your left shoulder. Your right hip. Your left hip. Your left knee. Now your right knee. Your left foot. Your right foot. Open your eyes. Inhale, lift your chest just a bit. Exhale, stay. Inhale, lift it up. Relax your arms. And again, a little pull back. Literally, your whole leg might pull back. Thigh bone into your socket, turning your shoulders and your hips. Left arm crosses, right arm is your kickstand, just like on a bicycle. Up on your in-breath. Belly button opening up, turning as you exhale. Again, everything might feel nice in this twisted, stable, open way, but watch your shoulders. The tops of your shoulders are literally coming down. Give it 2 more full rounds of breath here. Steady, slow. Feel free to go ahead and close your eyes, unwind on your inhale. Center, just notice your feet, your hips, shoulders, all the way up to your head. Let your eyes open back up. Turn so you come off of your prop, both legs out in front. A good bend in your knees will be kinder to your lower back as you roll down, and maybe you take a pause coming onto your forearms. Little mini fish pose, chest up. No need to throw your head back. Just opening up through your chest. And then letting one arm extend, upper arm on the ground, leaning to that side, other arm on the ground. And then when you get fully onto your back, just do what feels right. If you want a windshield wiper, you want to twist, you want to hug, or just let your legs lift. The answer is always E, the above. Anything. All of the above. Doesn't mean you have to do it all. Then you'll find constructive rest pose. Feet wide as the mat, inner knees together, inner thighs coming towards one another. Hands on your belly, eyelids heavy. Equal out your in-breath and your out-breath. Equal out where the breath is between the front of your torso and the back of your body. Option to keep your eyes closed or open them back up. As your hands are on your belly, interlace your fingers. Take that basket of your hands up and over. So your palms are going to hold the back of your head, elbows wide. Just like you're lounging, hands behind your head. Separate your knees. Lift your feet off the floor. And then you're going to let your knees go over to the left side. And then turn your head to the right. The higher your knees are up towards your armpit, the more you're going to feel the twist in your middle spine. If your knees are farther away, you're going to feel it more in your lower spine. So maybe it's somewhere in between. Maybe you need one more than the other. And then the turn of your head just takes that gentle twist up into your neck. Feet don't have to be stacked, they can be staggered. Maybe you want to extend your top leg out a little bit. Doesn't need to be a perfect shape. This needs to be yours where you can breathe. Feel that twisting action. Wherever you're at, bring your head back to center on an inhale, your knees back to center on an exhale, and simply to the other side, turn your head. Remember, knees close is going to be different than your knees farther down and away. Maybe change up where your top leg is. It can just be slightly extended. Again, because if your breath is really catching and it's hard to breathe, it's just a signal. It's not quite the right unique shape for you quite yet. Change it up until you have more capacity to breathe. Relax your jaw. Your inhale, head to center. Your exhale, knees to center. Anything else you need, any pose, any amount of time, go there before you find Shavasana. You might take Shavasana with your socks on, with a blanket on, with any amount of props, blanket behind your head, bolster underneath your knees. But don't feel like you need to rush to get there. You've already made the time and the space. So make sure you take it. When you land resting on the ground, let an exhale go. One final little checkpoint, little zigzag around your body. Let your breath be free. Bring your attention to your right ear. Your left eyeball. Your right eyeball. Your right ear. Left shoulder. Right shoulder. Left elbow. Your right elbow. Left hand. Right hand. Left hip bone and buttocks. Right hip bone and buttocks. Left knee. Right knee. Left ankle. Right ankle. Left big toe. Right big toe. The whole right side of your body. The whole left side of your body. Your entire physical form. From your crown to your toes. Toes to your crown. Now becoming aware of your inhale, your exhale. Your right lung, your left lung. Both lungs. Back to your inhale and your exhale. A little bit more. When the timing feels right. A little wiggle, a little stretch, a big yawn. Any reawakening. Any way you'd like to come back to a seated position. Hands at your heart. finding that slight rock from your palms to your fingertips. Being mindful and aware of your hands. Even slower. When you're ready, land your hands, all 10 fingers together. Ending practice with 3 breaths all together. In, out. Inhale. Breath out. Take a moment to thank yourself for the time and the space. Take a moment to thank the other people here on the screen practicing with you. And a big thank you from my heart to yours. Take your time. I'd love to see your face before you go, or you can unmute. Say hello, say goodbye. I hope everyone had a lovely holiday, and hopefully everyone has the day off today. Bye, Candace. Hi, Susan. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Good to see you, Emily.
You soon, I hope.
Have a good weekend. Bye, Duncan. I don't want to mess up your zone.